Hey everyone, it's Carissa. Welcome to Satur-YAY. We're celebrating the weekend by getting our craft on. And today I'm going to be using a couple of sets from Concord and Ninth. Well, one of them is from the Essentials by Ellen line that was designed by Concord and Ninth. It is the Sweet Sprinkles United We Flourish set. And I'm going to combine it with this Enjoy It All stamp set from Concord and Ninth. And I'm going to be using that large sentiment that says, "Oh, happy day," along with the cupcake from the Sweet Sprinkles stamp set. And I wanted to make sure that I had plenty of room for my cupcake once I stamped my sentiment. So I laid it all out on my Misty first, and then I went ahead and picked up the cupcake to stamp my sentiment. And I am just prepping the surface of my card front here using a powder tool. I'm stamping my sentiment in Versamark ink, and then I'm coating it with this Brutus Monroe gilded embossing powder. This is the gold embossing powder. You can see I just used a coffee filter to catch the extras there. I don't have this in a container yet. And then I just funneled that back into my jar, and then I made sure my heat tool was good and hot and embossed this onto this Neenah Solar White card front. You can see the beautiful gold image that I'm left with there. So now that I have my card front kind of going, I'm going to go ahead and work on my cupcake. And for the cupcake wrapper, I decided I wanted to use a little bit of craft cardstock. And I was kind of going for like a little bit of rustic or natural look along with that really feminine look, kind of like the weddings that are very like boots and lace kind of thing, only this isn't really super rustic. It's just a little bit of craft cardstock. And when I first thought about this card, I thought I would use all neutrals. And I was trying to find a ink that I had in my set that was kind of a creamy color. And I tried this buttercream from Altenew. It ended up being a little too yellow. So I'm going to work on other parts until I figure out what I want to do with that icing. So I'm just grabbing some floral images and some leaf images from that Enjoy It All stamp set. And I stamped the flowers in the Hero Arts, is it cotton candy ink? And then I'm going to use the mint julep ink for the leaves. And I landed on this Lawn Fawn ballet slippers ink for my icing because I wanted it lighter than the flowers. Now I have my coordinating dies positioned over the stamped images, and I'm going to show you how I build my sandwich for cutting with the Gemini Junior. So I'm starting with my clear plastic cutting pad on the bottom with my blades facing into that cutting pad. Then I'm placing my magnetic shim, my plastic shim, and a second cutting pad there. And I'm just going to send this through my Gemini. Now, I love that I don't have to crank my Gemini. It takes about 10 seconds for this to go through. And then when it comes out the other side, I am left with these perfectly die-cut images. Now, at first, I thought I would also emboss these images, and so I went ahead and put it into this 3D folder here from We Are Memory Keepers. It's a part of the Furry Friends bundle, and I embossed that. And the sandwich that I used for this next level embossing folder was just one cutting pad on either side, so it was just sandwiched between. When I took that out, I was like, my cupcake has the measles. So I decided to just stamp another and die cut it and not emboss it. And now, because I don't own the coordinating dies for this Enjoy It All stamp set, I went ahead and just fussy cut those. Now, this stamp is beautiful as it is, but I wanted to add a little depth and dimension. And one of my favorite ways to do that is by adding some shading with colored pencils. Now, this is one of those super easy techniques that can make all the difference in the world. So you can see I'm just taking a pink colored pencil. It doesn't have to be perfect with colored pencils. It just has to be a little bit darker. And I'm adding some darkness to that left side. Now to lighten up the right side, I went ahead and went in with my white colored pencil and added a little bit of highlight over there. And I'm doing that on the floral image as well. And what that does is it takes this very flat, stamped, solid image and adds a little bit of depth and dimension. And like I said, it's one of those really easy techniques that doesn't take much time but can make a huge difference in your stamped or colored images. And I say colored images because you can do this not only on a solid stamped image, but you can also do this over Copic color. So if you don't have multiple markers in a Copic color family, you can use a darker colored pencil or a white colored pencil over the top to create your shadows and your highlights. So you can see I'm just assembling my cupcake here with that little bit of floral touch on that right-hand side. And then I'm adding foam adhesive onto the back. I have 2 layers of foam adhesive along the top part of that frosting of the cupcake and 1 layer of foam adhesive along the bottom so that there's even more depth and dimension created by this stamped image. Now I thought it would be fun to add a little bit of this like jute or hemp twine here along the base of the cupcake. So I went ahead and just tied it on there. I'm going to retie it later so it's not perfect right now. But once I got to this point, I felt like this needed a little more detail. And so what I did was I took the largest of the small stitched rectangles from Lawn Fawn and I die cut my card front so that I have a little stitching detail around the edge. And now I'm taking the little hearts from the Sweet Sprinkles stamp and die combo, and I'm going to emboss them or actually deboss them onto the front of my card front. So the sandwich I'm using here is my clear cutting pad, and then I have my rubber embossing mat. This is not the magnetic shim, it's the rubber embossing mat. And I'm positioning that with my blades facing into that rubber embossing mat, and I'm completing my sandwich with the plastic shim and then the second cutting pad on the top. And you can see I'm going to do this several times to create a scattered heart background all over the front of this card front. So once again, clear cutting plate, embossing pad, and then I have my paper with the die facing into the embossing pad, my plastic shim, and then my second clear plastic cutting plate. And I'm going to go ahead and just continue to do this until I have hearts everywhere that I want it. This embossing or debossing technique with dies is a great way to get more out of the dies that you already own. And I love to use it like with circles and that sort of thing just to create like a grounding point for my stamped images on my card fronts. So I was positioning everything on the front of my card here, and I'm getting to the point where I'm happy with this. I'm going to go ahead and add some foam adhesive along the back of my card front. Then I decided it needed some gold glitter. I mean, because I'm not going to add sequins, even though I really wanted to. So I decided it needed a little bit of gold glitter cardstock. And I'm just cutting down a strip of gold glitter cardstock. It was a scrap that I had. I cut some banner ends into it, and then I put it on my card front using some tape runner adhesive. And I'm going to mount my cupcake right over the top of that. It just adds a fun little detail. And then I'm going to go ahead and retie the bow on my cupcake here. Now, don't pull too hard, because you will rip your cupcake wrapper. And I know that from experience. So once I have everything fixed, I'm going to go ahead and adhere this card front onto a craft card base. And when I say craft, I'm actually using the Nina Desert Storm cardstock today. And then I'm going to add some finishing details. I added some gold stickles to the center of my flowers. And then I'm going to put this onto my Tonic Easy Clean mat. And I am going to use my Sukanyeko Shimmer Spray in the sparkle. And I'm just going to go way high above it and add some spritzes of the shimmer mist to kind of add a little bit more sparkle to my card. And that completes my card for today. So this is a really easy technique, this shading with colored pencils. I find that it's a lot less intimidating than going in with markers. It's something that I think that everybody could do with whatever kind of colored pencils you have. The other thing that's great is that the colored pencil doesn't have to be an exact color, and you can create varying like shades of it by adding more and layering up that colored pencil or going in with a lighter hand to make it light. As always, I will have links to the featured products in the description at YouTube, but head on over to the Coordinating Classroom blog post because I'll have more still shots, more information, and a complete list of supplies that I used on this project over there. As always, all of these products are available for purchase at ellenhudson.com. We thank you for stopping by and watching, and I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with a friend that you think may like it. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy Satur-YAY, and I hope you have a fabulous day. Here are a couple more videos I thought you might be interested in, and you can just click on the left side of that screen to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our paper crafting video tutorials.